Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to All Things Superman, where we simply talk about everything related to Superman, from comics to movies to TV shows, and much, much more. Okay, so today we are starting our review of the movie Superman 3, and this is a continuation of the series of the Superman movies, or the reviews of the Superman movies that I've been doing. You can check out my reviews to the movie Superman 1 and Superman 2, and I'll provide links in this video so you can check them out. But on to Superman 3, the Christopher Reeve Superman 3. Now, from the onset of this movie, from the opening credit scene of this movie, we felt that this movie was going to be something different. And a little behind the scenes stuff. So at this point, Richard Lester had already taken over the picture from Richard Donner in Superman 2. And like I say, you can check that out in my Superman 2 review. But Richard Lester provided a whole new direction for this film that got a lot of people disgruntled, kind of the same way that Man of Steel did for this new generation of Superman fans. So let's dive into a little bit of that. So a couple of notable things about this movie. As I say, in the opening credit scene, you could already tell that this was going to be a different movie from the comedic opening. You had the mime that was tripping over the gumballs that had fell over there on the street and all this kind of stuff, and that was a crazy thing. You had Clark walking down the street, blowing out a penguin that was on fire. You had, Clark also walking down the street and protecting this lady, who we'll soon to know in the film, from getting hit in the face with a pie and all this kind of stuff, and he hits this other guy with a pie, and it's just this real comedic opening, and it's so different from the serious tone that we had experienced with Superman 1 and Superman 2. Another notable thing about the movie is Clark's disposition in this movie. Clark Kent is no longer this bumbling idiot. He's no longer this guy who runs into walls and bumps into people and knocks over stuff and gets in all kinds of just crazy situations. Clark is a more established character now, and I remember seeing an interview with Chris Reeve back in the day where he talked about that's one of the things that he wanted to do with the character of Clark Kent. He kind of wanted to take him in a new direction. He said that, I remember specifically him saying that, Clark now has kind of worked at the Daily Planet for a good while now. He should know his way around, so he should no longer be this bumbling guy that's continuously fumbling over everything and stuff like that. So also in this picture, we see Clark as a completely different character than we've seen him in Superman 1 and Superman 2. Now, with this review, I want to get into some specific things that I liked and some of the things that I didn't like so much about Superman 3. So I'm kind of going in that direction with this review, a little bit different than I did with the Superman 1 and Superman 2 reviews, because when you check them out, you'll know I'm biased. I loved Superman 1 and Superman 2. This one, hit a little bit different than those two. So I want to get into the specific things that I did like about Superman 3 and those things that I didn't like as much. So the first thing I really liked is that they introduced a new love interest for Clark in this movie, and that's none other than Lana Lang. Now, a tidbit of information for you guys: a lot of people didn't even know that. The person who played Lana Lang, her name is Annette O'Toole. She also played in Smallville. She played the mother of Clark Kent in Smallville. She played Martha Kent. And it's funny because I remember a review about her when she first got the part, and she was saying that, even when she auditioned for the part for Martha Kent, that nobody even knew that she was in Superman 3. So, I mean, that's a testament to show how little people knew of Superman 3. Everybody's favorite Superman movie by far is Superman 2. So anyway, I really appreciate that they introduced her as a new love interest in this movie, and where she comes in, she's Clark's high school love interest. So Clark goes back to Smallville for his class reunion, runs into this, Lana Lang character, and she is like, just as into him. And that made Lois disappear from the picture. We saw Lois Lane, Margot Kidder. We saw her at the beginning of the film, and they said that she was going on vacation to Bermuda. For the rest of the film, we didn't see her, and then she shows up back again at the end when she gets back from the trip or whatever, and then, they go through this whole thing. But anyway, I really like that they introduced a love interest in there, so we could kind of get away a little bit, veer away a little bit from the whole Superman and Lois Lane thing. So I appreciate that they did that. I don't think it worked out too well. Although Lana Lang, I think Annette O'Toole did a magnificent job as Lana Lang, but the way that the whole thing was handled, I think that it could have been done better. Now, let me be clear. I love Superman 3 as well. You guys, if you haven't figured out by now, I'm kind of biased toward these movies because these are some of my earliest childhood memories, sitting down watching all of the Superman movies. So I'm actually kind of biased, but I can sit down and take an objective look at these movies and recognize them for what they are and say what's good and not so good about them. So again, I really appreciate that they introduced Lana Lang as a new love interest. Okay, so another thing that I appreciated about this movie is what they tried to do with the whole evil Superman versus Clark Kent thing. So basically Superman versus himself. It's a very interesting concept. I think it came off in the movie okay. I think at the time it was okay. It wasn't just like this, oh my God, we have to, see Superman fight Clark Kent thing. But it was a pretty cool concept, and I think for the most part, all of the viewers or the fans of Superman or comics, period, wanted to see this. So because it was interesting, they advertised it a little bit with the trailers that they put out for Superman 3. So it was a very interesting concept. Now, for those of you who haven't seen the movie, and just with all my reviews, guys, I'm gonna suggest that you go out and buy the DVD, buy the Blu-ray, buy the Superman 3, all of the Superman movies. It'll really give you a lot of insight. Once you watch them, it'll really give you a lot of insight on how this whole Man of Steel universe that we're in now is coming to be. And that's what I'm really hoping to give you guys in these videos and these reviews, so that you kind of understand where we are with the whole DC cinematic universe as it pertains to Superman and a lot of the other characters. So with the whole evil Superman versus Clark Kent thing, if you haven't seen it, basically, in a nutshell, what happens is Superman gets this kryptonite that's been, I guess, tampered with because they couldn't find all of the elements that made up kryptonite. So Richard Pryor ended up putting tar in one of the elements in the kryptonite. So it became something like bad kryptonite. And we've seen something like that in the comics before. But what happens is it has this adverse effect on Superman. So he becomes like not himself. He becomes like this evil Superman. So he starts, flying around doing crazy stuff. The funniest thing he did to me was, when he straightened the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and it's like the funniest thing. Like the Leaning Tower, he just like straightened it like that. It's too funny. But anyway, it was definitely an interesting concept. I like how it was played out. For the movie at the time, again, I think it was for them having to keep the movie PG. They couldn't go too far and make Superman and Clark Kent just like kind of really, really, really fight and battle. So it was kind of lessened a little bit. So, but again, it was a really interesting concept about the movie, and I appreciate what they did with that whole scene. Now, one of the things I appreciated most about Superman 3 is how they did a lot of the flight scenes. So if you really notice the difference between like Superman 1 and 2 and Superman 3, the flight scenes, you had a little bit more realistic like outdoor flight scenes. You actually saw, a couple times Superman running on the ground and taking off. And it's not this green screen where it automatically jumps to. It's Christopher Reeve on wires or whatever, and then they pulling him up in the air. So I thought that was kind of cool. It gave a more realistic kind of tone to it. It gave, this is him actually flying off the ground, and it puts us right there in the picture with him, seeing him do that. The scene where, one of my favorite scenes in that movie is where the evil Superman, right before the evil Superman and Clark Kent scene, when drunk Superman comes out of this bar and little Ricky is calling his name or whatever, and he runs down the street, and he runs up in the air and takes off. It's like a really cool flight scene that you can see him take right off the ground. So I thought that was pretty cool that they did that. And it's quite a few scenes in the movie like that, where you see this kind of more real world, realistic kind of flight thing going on with Superman. The same thing when Superman was in Smallville, and he saved little Ricky from these corn tractors or whatever they were. You see him take off, and then when he's flying, he's actually flying over the cornfields or whatever. So that was actually a pretty cool scene, and I really appreciated that they did that. It gave us a sense of a more realistic tone of the movie. Okay, now let's jump over to some of the things that I didn't like so much about Superman 3. And this first thing is it's really kind of hard for me to talk about, because it's one of those things that goes both ways. I really like it, and I really think it was a bad decision to do it at the same time. And that thing was to add Richard Pryor to Superman 3. Now, let me be clear. I absolutely love Richard Pryor. I mean, this guy is probably my most favorite comedian, period. He is the king of comedy to me. I absolutely love him. He's even a great actor. I love the movies that he's done. I love all of the, like Silver Streak with he and Gene Wilder, and I think it was I forget the other movie with him and Gene Wilder as well. But he's done some really funny stuff. He's a really great actor. However, I just think for Superman 3, the mistake was to add Richard Pryor to this film. Now, let's talk about it a little bit. What happened is, we're talking about around 1983, 1982, 83, or something like that. Richard Pryor at the time is really popular. He's really big. He's the king of comedy of that time. So, of course, he was looked at to be in quite a few films. He had already done quite a few movies. So he was already a great talent. Hollywood was looking for him and to him to do a lot of movies. So I think it's never a mistake to recruit, somebody like Richard Pryor to put him in a movie when it fits. However, taking Superman from what we knew in Superman 1 and 2, from this more serious tone to a more of a comedy. Because honestly, guys, how people remember Superman 3 is when you say, oh, is that the one with Richard Pryor in it? And that's how people know Superman 3. So Richard Pryor became really the star of this Superman. A lot of camera time was given to him, which took a lot of the focus off Superman and some of the things that he was doing. So again, for me, guys, this is one of those things that's really kind of 50-50 for me. I think it was a mistake overall to add the comedic tone to Superman. Thus, I think it was a mistake to add Richard Pryor. Now, that's not to say anything about Richard Pryor. God rest his soul. Again, he's one of he is my favorite. There's of course other comedians that I love, but he is top of the list for me. So it's not to impugn anything about Richard Pryor. But again, adding him to Superman just made this movie. It took this movie in a completely different direction than what we had known Superman 1 and Superman 2 to be. And I think that was the big problem with it, and why it didn't do as well as Superman 1 and 2. Because people were sitting there in the movies like, okay, like, what? I mean, I don't even understand what I'm supposed to, understand from this movie. So anyway, like I said, Richard Pryor again, I have to keep saying it, guy. He is terrific. But adding him to Superman 3, I think, was one of the biggest mistakes that they could have done with this movie, only because of the direction that they took Superman with as a whole. Not because of Richard Pryor himself, but putting it in a comedic fashion, moving this movie to a comedy, more of an action comedy than it was a action, drama or serious sci-fi action movie. I think it was just a mistake from what we had already known Superman 1 and 2 to be. Okay, so another thing that I think that was kind of not so great about the movie was the villain in this movie, and that is Ross Webster. Ross Webster wasn't a really formidable villain to me. He was, I kind of dislike when you have these guys who have a lot of money. Except with the exception of Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor inherently kind of has this evil thing about him, but I'll talk about that later. But in the case of other people with this, I just have a lot of money, so I want control. I want to be able to control things in the world, the oil, the water, all of this stuff in the world. It's kind of unrealistic to think that in a realistic world, if Superman existed and he lived on planet Earth, and I wanted to start this crime to where I'm gonna go to Colombia and take over the coffee in Colombia, that Superman wouldn't interfere with that, and that I would be able to do something with money to create something that would, I don't know, defeat Superman. So with that being said, I don't think, with all of that in mind, I don't think that Ross Webster was a very formidable villain against Superman. Now, in some aspects, on the other side of that token, I do understand that, and they probably will explore this a little bit in Man of Steel 2 or Batman versus Superman, because Lex Luthor is a billionaire, so is Bruce Wayne. A lot of the villains that they have, or that the superheroes have, it's because of money. They have money, so they can buy things, they buy gadgets, they put stuff together that can defeat these superheroes or go up against the superheroes. So, but I just Ross Webster, he wasn't really that scary to me. Again, and this is all coming off Superman 2, guys. When you had the three villains, you had General Zod, Nun, and Ursa in this movie, who had the exact same powers as Superman, and they're in the mid city of Metropolis and getting into a fight, and then you put that up against like Ross Webster. Okay, he owns a company and he has money. It's like, okay. So anyway, I think the actor that played Ross Webster, he did a wonderful job in the role. I'm not taking anything away from their talent. His whole team, the lady that played his sister, Lorelai, his psychic nutritionist. If you watch the movie, you'll know what that means. I think they all did a magnificent job for the part that they were given. But again, just overall in this movie, I don't think that they proved to be a formidable villain. And then they used Richard Pryor Richard Pryor's computer genius to come in and help them kind of put something together to defeat Superman. So I think I think they could have done a better job with finding us a better villain. Okay, now another noteworthy thing about this film is, I'm not sure that a lot of people know about this, but Christopher Reeve actually, after Superman 3, said that he didn't want to do any more Superman movies. And I don't think he ever came out and said exactly why, but just me speculating, I think it was because of exactly what I just said about the direction that they're taking, that they took with Superman 3 and how they... let me back up a little bit. If you don't know, like I said, in the Superman 2 review, I explained to you guys about the switch between the directors from Richard Donner to Richard Lister, and why those things happen. When the switch happened, a lot of the cast members, and even rumored Marlon Brando, that's why Marlon Brando didn't want to be a part of, Superman 2, because... Richard Donner had been kicked off this movie. So a lot of the cast members, and I believe even Gene Hackman said the same thing about, Superman. And I believe that's why he didn't return for Superman 3. So you had a lot of disgruntled cast members because they had relationship with Richard Donner, and after he got kicked off, a lot of the cast members were mad, but they were still on the contract, so of course they had to finish the movies. So I think this comes down to that too. I think Christopher Reeve, and again, this is me speculating, it was because of the direction. One of the things that, because they switched directors and the direction that they took Superman 3 in this comedic direction that kind of took Superman out of what he was supposed to be. So Christopher Reeve went on record saying that he wasn't going to come back and do another Superman movie. So I'm not sure a lot of people know about that. So again, guys, this is kind of some of this movie drama stuff that happens with these movies, and thus it creates issues down the line. I say to people all the time that You have to understand how, even decisions that were made back then affect how movies and stuff are made now when it pertains to the same character. So, but again, Superman went on record and saying, I'm sorry, Superman. Christopher Reeve went on record saying that he wasn't going to do another Superman movie. Okay, so lastly, I'll talk about a couple of the deleted scenes in the movie. Really, none of the deleted scenes in this movie to me are very notable. I'll actually just talk about one, the one that, and you can pull these up on YouTube. Just search Superman 3 deleted scenes, and you can probably see them. Or go buy, like I said, the Blu-ray or the DVD, and of course they'll come on there as well. But the most notable one was one that was part of the opening credits, where Superman actually, what's shown in the film, where he goes out and saves this guy from drowning in his car when he hits this fire hydrant, and his car starts filling up with water. Well, what happens is, after he saves this guy, a deleted scene that was cut from the movie is Superman actually flies off to, save this this little child that had got stuck up in a tree. And it's a very cheesy scene. I completely understand why it was taken out of the movie. So, again, that's just another testament to how this movie, the direction of this movie was going. A lot of the stuff not only didn't fit the character of Superman, but it did. It gave us this different version of whom we knew Superman to be because of this movie. And again, guys, you got to understand that Superman was basically the first iteration of a comic book character on the big screen. And this set the tone for a lot of things that were supposed to happen. Even Superman 1 and Superman 2 set the tone for a lot of other movies to come, but it even set the tone for Superman 3 and Superman 4 as well. So when those tones didn't match, it was like, wow, like, what is this that we're looking at? So again, that's just another thing to prove, how the direction of this movie was just kind of a little sideways from what we've known it to be. All right, so guys, overall, like I say, I think Superman 3 was a pretty good movie. Coming off of Superman 2, I definitely don't think it was as good as Superman 2. But me being, again, I'm admittedly, I'm very biased towards Superman. They could have shown him, doing anything, and I probably would have liked it at the time. So I think overall it was still a good movie. Just judging it on its own merits, unbiased, I think it was a fairly good movie. Again, I don't think it was good as Superman 1 or Superman 2. It gave us this different direction of Superman. And another thing, let me talk about this before we end the video. A lot of the decisions that were made in Superman 3 and a lot of the Superman movies were based off what Superman was in the comic books. Understand that Superman was, by nature, he was a guy that, that would save a child from a tree or save a cat from a tree. So this is what we knew Superman to be. In all fairness, this is what we knew Superman to be in the comics. So, putting it in the movie or trying to put it in the movie wasn't just like this big, thing that this was going to take Superman completely out of his element. It was, it was something that we've seen Superman do before in the comics. It just did not work on the big screen. And thus, another argument that you see that everything that happens in the comic books does not work on the big screen in the movies. So again, take note of that, guys, when we're talking about, a lot of these, DC and Marvel movies that are coming out, and, a lot of the fans and stuff are getting mad because they're not so true or literal to the exact same things that these characters were in the comic book. People get disgruntled. But as you see in Superman 3, some of those things just don't work. So I wanted to say that. So again, overall, out of a 10, I would give this movie like a 7.5-ish, I guess, if that's a score. So again, overall, they could have done anything with the movie. I would have loved it. I hope you guys actually go check it out. If you haven't seen Superman 3, go rent the DVD or the Blu-ray, or go buy it. Keep it in your collection. It'll definitely give you some insight on this whole DC cinematic universe, where we're moving with Batman versus Superman and the Justice League movie to come, and hopefully a Flash movie and Wonder Woman movie, and all of these standalone character movies. You'll get a lot of insight into that. Also, if you have not seen my Superman 1 and 2 reviews, be sure to go check those out, because I'm doing these in a series. So you'll see how each movie relates to each other. after you watch, the previous review. So go check those out, and you can follow me on Twitter at this link right here in the video. Go follow me on Twitter right now. Ask me any questions that you may want to ask. I'll be talking about them in my videos. I'll be talking about your questions. And I also like conversing with you guys in the chat board. So, once you respond to my video, let's talk about these reviews. Tell me what you thought of Superman 3. So with all that being said, guys, I'll end the video here. Stay tuned for my Superman 4 review coming up very, very, very soon. See you guys in the next video.